In a corporate world where all employees have great leaders with no egos that create fun cultures where people can do their best work, the employees and companies thrive while doing great things for the customers, themselves, and each other.
Well, we know that rarely happens. I'm Jeff Palacio. I have been a leader for over 40 years for every t-shirt size company, from small 16 employees to extra large over 1 million. Please join me while I interview outstanding leaders that will share stories of great leadership and not so great. It will help you become a better leader while poking fun about all the crazy shit that happens in corporate America.
Your financial future begins with a simple question: where do you want to be? At Searcy Financial, we help successful individuals and families through our mission to simplify your financial journey, empowering you to enjoy life and wealth on your terms. The question sparks a conversation that goes beyond numbers, helping us to understand what truly matters to you and the kind of financial plan that aligns with your life goals. It also allows us to identify potential challenges and opportunities so we can proactively address them. The outcome is a plan that empowers you to acquire, growth, and preserve your wealth. If you would like to sign up for updates on Marc's all-for-one book, including the release date, or to sign up for the Searcy Financial Wealth Matters email newsletter, visit the links in the episode description.
Welcome to a special edition of the Corporate Couch. These episodes will be more of a love seat that focuses on one topic and will run 15 to 30 minutes. For each special edition episode, you will hear from one or more outstanding leaders sharing their expertise on the most important challenges in corporate America today. Welcome to the first monthly special edition. This is a new feature of the Corporate Couch. We have these special edition episodes, and this one is going to be a reoccurring monthly with my good friend Marc Shaffer. Marc, welcome.
Happy Friday, Jeff. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, speaking of Friday, this monthly edition is going to be called It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere edition. We're doing it via Zoom today, but we are going to take this remote to various bars and restaurants in the Kansas City area going forward.
If you have any suggestions, we've been a lot of places, but we're open to new places too.
There we go. So yeah, we're going to treat this as it's kind of like eavesdropping on Marc and I's, reoccurring happy hours that we have when we get together. Just talk about random shit that's going on in our lives and what's helping us, and ask each other for advice. So
let me mention this. Jeff and I have been doing this for, 7 or 8 years. Now it's going to be recorded, which will be fun. But do you remember how we originally did this?
Yes, I do. Mick Johnson.
Yeah, a group of 7 or 8 of us did it, not just you and I. And that was Introducing Awesome from years ago.
Yes. Mick put 2 fantastic groups of people together. We were in the second group, as well as his wife Missy, which I guess she wasn't awesome enough to get into the OG group. Mick,
she got promoted to IA2. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's been great. So we're just going to talk about things, and I got a topic that's not only been very current for me, but it's been probably 10, 12 years of frustration. And I'd love your thoughts on it, Marc, because I know you're a very generous giver, and you help a lot of people in job search, and as well as I do. What's happening out there and has been happening is people are being treated so shitty by companies during an interview process. It's terrible. I don't know if this is a platform to talk about it, but I'm going to use it as one. It's just, they interview, they go through 7 rounds of interviews, and then they get a templated email saying somebody else is more qualified, or they went in another direction. And what I hate about it is, one, it takes, you're being robotic in something that someone has spent, let's just say 20 to 40 hours preparing, doing interviews,
Sometimes
traveling to and
three
from.
interviews or more than one interview. Yeah.
Yes, and it's and as you know, my wife Robin has been going through job search process during a few times, to say the least, during COVID, and companies have reached out to her saying, "Hey, you look like a great fit for our job." She used to work at the company. They were told, "I will not ghost you," and guess what? They were supposed to hire somebody, late January. That was the last communication. We're recording here on March the 14th. Still hasn't heard from that company.
14th.
So
That's
yeah, it's
bad.
just crazy. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more, Jeff. It's, in my opinion, unacceptable to get what I'll call the cold shoulder from companies. Part of a job as a good person and a good community leader and someone that's doing the right thing or leader in a company is to manage expectations and communication. So I think that it needs to be key. And personally, starting to hire some new people, I'm all about responding, being on top of it. Now, having said that, I don't know if these companies have 5,000 people emailing them requesting updates, and then it can become overwhelming. And I think now there's this weird dynamic going on in companies that are using AI to do things, meaning they enter someone's resume in AI, they pair it in AI with the job description, what they want to hire for, and then all of a sudden AI says, "Oh, they're 52% match." I don't know if that's how it works, but I'm imagining that companies are looking for ways to streamline, but I still don't agree with it because people are companies' biggest assets if they're the right people. There's just got to be a better way to do it. So I also get very frustrated when I don't get a response, let alone a job, if it's with a job process for sure.
So ATSs are applicant tracking systems. So in 2009, I was in job search because Capital One home loan shut down, and I remember Garmin was one of the first companies, well, to my knowledge, using it, the ATSs. And you literally, I remember one job I submitted, filled out, the onerous information. Can't just look at my resume. I got to retype my resume in.
Mhm. Yep.
Anyhow, I press submit. I like literally within seconds it was rejected.
Oh, interesting.
And what they were doing is exactly what I said. Keyword matches. Do the main keywords in their job description, did it match my resume? So literally about 3 or 4 months later, I saw the job again, and I said, okay, let me try this differently. So I just changed words, looked at the job description. I didn't even know. I figured they were keyword matching. I had no idea. Now it's common practice, like you
True.
like you
Or like
your
AI
example.
is common practice, so you'll
Yes,
ask AI how to win the job. I
yes,
mean, like,
yes, yes, 100%. But I tweaked a few things. I wasn't lying. I just changed some keywords and all this, and they also asked some questions, and I tweaked some things. Anyhow, didn't get the automatic rejection. About 2 weeks later, I did get an automated email saying I wasn't, I wasn't going to
yeah,
move forward, which is fine because I think somebody actually looked. And again, resumes are something, but it's not everything, right? But that's the way
I
it
think the
happens.
hiring manager probably uses that to look at 25 candidates instead of 2,500 if it's a job
Yes,
like that.
of course. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
there's 250 applicants per job, give or take. So yes, you're not going to go comb through, but again, you can't disqualify people automatically. I get it. If you're a chef and you're applying for a financial analyst position, that's you're probably, if your resume says
Well,
you're mainly a
here's
chef.
you probably know this about my team, but we use a personality profile, which is interesting and it's worked well. I think I've told you in the past, my personality profile is a technical expert. So if you asked me to be in the community networking, it would say that I would fail at that job. Turns out, 19 years later, I'm loving being in the community. Yes, I guess, still a technical expert because I
Right.
do like being right on things, being a
Yeah.
resource on technical things as it relates to financial planning. But now that we're hiring a new person, I'm doing the attempting to do the opposite of what you just illustrated,
Hmm.
is thinking about a person. Right now we're hiring an executive assistant, and yes, there's some that have been past executive assistants that would probably be great, but I'm trying to think outside of the box, and maybe the title is wrong. Like I want this person to be marketing. I want them to help with
Yeah,
events and being in the community and building
yeah,
relationships and a lot of administrative stuff. So I'm not throwing out, the ones that don't match
yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And hopefully I'll have a story in another month that
yeah,
maybe one that was different turned out to be a great success. And I
yeah,
know you don't know after a month, but in any event where you started, it's got to be communication and follow up and stay on top of it. I will tell you that, you know this, is in today's world, and I'm helping a handful, there's probably 10 people that I'm helping find things. And at the end of the day, it comes from who you know and who you're meeting, not from typically applying on a website. It still happens, so don't discount that.
yeah,
But there are jobs created around people helping and placing them. You know all these people too, and there's more than one. There's small companies and big companies,
yeah,
and depending on the niche, sometimes, well, Melissa McClung, she helps with specific healthcare, medicine, and those types of things. I think
yeah,
Mitch Case is helping with construction. Casey
yeah.
Wright helps with everything because he's got a team of people, and
Right.
Nora is Nakbor. I don't know if I said her last name
Neighbor.
right.
It's pronounced
Thank
neighbor.
you. Thank you. She helps too. So all those people are
Yeah,
kind of my first line of what are you looking for? Maybe one of these people can help, because otherwise it becomes the needle in the haystack and the potential bad experience that you're talking about. That happens with a lot.
yeah, yeah. I mean, data points out there because as you know, I teach both recent college graduates and help them get jobs, as well as career professionals that haven't looked for jobs in a long time. But yeah, about 70 to 80% of jobs are found through networking, and you know about 8% are found if you just applied for a job. You have basically without knowing anyone, no contacts or anything. It's about 8% chance. So
And
um,
I would bet now more than ever, there's more remote jobs than ever. So it used to be
yeah,
you'd apply in the same city you're in, and now people are applying for even an executive assistant job from other states. So it's not
yeah,
that that's not a requirement to be here, and maybe it is, and I prefer it, but
yeah.
it's that's changed the dynamics of hiring too.
100%. Yeah, I can go on and on this topic, but one thing I will say to maybe end it for at least this episode. It might come back up. Who knows? Is look, if you're the hiring manager, yeah, I know you. If you interview people, so say 250 applicants, you weed that down to 12. You do phone screens or Zoom calls. You weed that down to 6 finalists. Even if you're the best company to work for, if one person is going to get that job, and that's the greatest call a hiring manager can make. Welcome to the team. Excited to work with you. We're going to do great things together. Love that. Here's your starting salary, your bonus, days of
And like
vacation.
a fun welcome package. Like we love that
Yeah,
too. Like
that's
that's
great.
it's
But
exciting. Yep.
100%. That's the best. But the other 5 people, pick up the phone, call them. It's less than 3 minutes per call, and just tell them make yourself a human. Like tell
Yep.
them they put 20 to 40 hours in the process, and they'll appreciate it because nobody does it. Hardly
And I will
anyone
tell
does that.
you another short story is one particular guy, K-Stater, applying for our open executive assistant position.
Oh, so you're gonna hire that person
Done.
because it's
No, no,
yeah.
no, no. He's an. I
It,
think I haven't even met him yet, but our COO said he's following up with me. He's consistent. Like I respect the fact that he wants the job, but I think he's an engineer, so totally different background. But the fact that he was persistent, camera is doing what I hope others would do. Let's entertain the idea. Let's talk with him. I think he's on my calendar. But
yeah,
if not, I want to help him find a place if ours isn't the fit. And
yeah,
if everybody would do that, more job placement would happen. It'd be an easier experience, I think, but easier said than done, right?
yeah. Just my thoughts on your EA position. I think you either well, there's many different ways and strategies to hire, but you either want somebody a more younger demographic that will start as an EA but could move to other things within Cersei Financial, right? So so
Always,
that's
always a possibility. Yep.
or an older demographic where that's all they want to be and that's what they have been. And then the third group is somebody that maybe did something else at a company for years and is just but they're organized, great follow-up skills, personable, great
That is
personality,
the
and
third one. Worked
yeah,
for too big of a company, wants to be smaller, feel
yeah,
like they're making an
just yeah,
impact. That is,
doesn't want to be the head of HR, or lead financial analyst, or whatever,
yep,
manager of accounts payable, or whatever it is, right? Yeah.
yep, yep. So hopefully
Um,
I'll have more input on this in the next month or two.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Hey, I know something very exciting is coming to fruition. You have a new book coming
Oh
out, or
yeah.
your first book, and I
Yep.
believe June timeframe.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
It's evolved over the last 6 months. Well, actually, last year when Frank Keck, who I think you introduced me to,
Oh, there
told
we
him
go.
what I was presenting a bit on, and he said, "Why have you written a book yet?" And I was like, "I don't have time to write a book." Like, sounds good, but it really stuck with me. And then I was like, "Yeah, what? Why haven't I?" Fast forward, now it's been what, 9 months, 6 months working with the team to help write it, and it couldn't be more fun in the process. Yes, it's work. Yes, it's can be overwhelming, but I'm working with a team that's helping kind of hold me accountable to the things that they need to help get to certain spots. And what I've told others is even if there's no book that comes out of it, I'm better, my team's better, the way that I follow up with things that I'm putting in the book are better. So just the whole experience with Streamline Books is who I'm using, and their team has been wonderful. The thing that is most recent that you're bringing up is I finally announced it to my network because we have a cover, and I couldn't love it more. It's purple lavender for K-State. It's not, I mean, that's everybody knows I love K-State, but it looks really good. And
It does.
just just picking a title is weird. So that was a whole process.
Yeah, talk about the title. I love it.
At first the book was about paying it forward and based on the principle of an Irish proverb, which is handed out in slices and it comes back in loaves. Love it. And now that I've been at my team for 19 years in April, the stuff that I did, 15 years ago is manifesting in loaves. It's coming back in ways that I never expected. And it doesn't have to be money. And yes, I'm in sales and development, but it doesn't even have to be in that. It's in satisfaction. So at first it was about pay it forward. And then we kind of went into this whole thing after what is your target audience? And it was to create a process and a culture around a team for helping others. So the whole title is how to systematize kindness, pay it forward, and support others like it's your job. I might have missed one word in there. I haven't memorized it yet, but
But wait, the main title, that's your subtitle.
oh, thank you. All for one, one for all.
Which I was shocked when you sent me the cover, when you texted me the cover. I was like, this is such a great title. I could not believe that title has not been used before. Obviously, the subtitle would never,
Right, right.
but I went to Amazon Books, typed in one for all, and believe I was like, there's nothing. And I obviously knew with your research and technical skills, you would have already checked, and so would your
Streamline. Yeah, Streamline
Streamline,
Books.
that you would check that. But I was like, oh, I love the title, One for All.
Yeah.
It's,
Yep.
it's
It's
beautiful.
it's really going to be fun because it's all about helping people. And my hope is that people notice that when I do it in the community, yes, it can be overwhelming in the process and the way I follow up and stay on top of things.
Yes, it is
Um,
overwhelming.
but it works. So even if somebody reads the book and takes a few things, it's going to be a better experience. But the point of the book is it's not random. Like it's a process so that everyone that goes into the process has a similar experience. And don't discount that for not being genuine because it can still be genuine. It just allows you to do it on a bigger scale because if I had to recreate the wheel for every coffee I'm having, it would
Yeah,
just be too overwhelming in the time commitment that I couldn't do it. So it kind of gives tips and tricks on stuff to set up to be able to make it streamlinable, if
yeah,
that's a word. But I'm hopeful it will help other people, particularly the joke in my office has been, can you make a checklist for how you're developing relationships that turn into to revenue? And I was like, it's not like a check a 10 box thing. It's actually
right.
it's a whole culture. And guess what? I'm
Yeah,
going to write a book about it
yeah,
because it's not easy, but it is doable. So that will be out in June. We'll probably talk more about some of the stuff. And
yeah,
each chapter, I'm trying to create a takeaway for something people can create, almost like an exercise and a follow up. So
yeah,
that might be something we talk more on in the
yeah,
future. But I do have a meeting at 3 o'clock today with the person that's helping me the most, Jessica. And it's not work, it's fun just talking to her.
yeah. I bet. Yeah. What I mean, you and I have been trading great people that each of us knows personally, but the other does not. And I would say 99.999% of the people that tell me about the meeting with you and afterwards, they always say Mark's follow-up skills are just incredible. So there you go. Um,
Yep. Yep.
yes,
Sometimes I do it late at night to stay on top of it, but it's this process. If I'm putting in writing, I need to also do it myself, which I do, but it's kind of like
yeah,
I can't drop the ball if I'm trying to teach people to do it. But yeah,
right.
it's been a history of doing it, and it's certainly slices coming back in loaves now, which is nice.
Yeah, love that. I need your sage advice on another topic that's lately. Uh, it's happened twice in the last year where, as a solopreneur helping other companies host their internal podcasts and creating that, or their external podcasts to gain great clients and customers they can help. Um, I've had incidences with two, I will say friends, and then friends are relative in terms of the degree of, but I would say fairly close friends that have not returned my emails after they said they
Hmm.
wanted to do internal podcasts. Uh, so, and
I
I'm like, and I understand getting ghosted by people that you maybe had one meeting with, and you think it went fabulous, and you didn't even talk about what you did, and you're just trying to help them because you
Yep.
can. But I would love your thoughts on what do you do, like in terms of
It does happen. And in my book, I have a process for what I'll call letting people go. There's lovely people, they're doing good work. The timing might not be right, but
right,
I will tell you what I've done in the last 6 months that has changed it a little bit is I bought one of these. So in front of my computer and two screens, I also have, an iPad with a keyboard. What the crazy thing is um I could text on it. So some people I'm learning my wife is one of them. They have 32,148 emails in the bubble on their phone, which means that the one email I send every other week to follow up on something goes into that 30,000 email abyss.
yeah,
Those usually aren't the people I want to do business with.
right,
So sorry, babe. We'll stay married, but I don't want to do business with you. But some people can't manage email in the way that I would like to expect it. But guess what?
yeah,
They're very good at text messages.
yeah,
So in my follow ups, I've started rotating, assuming the relationship is that an email, a week later, a text. And then I give it a time frame, and I don't know the exact time frame I put in the book, but
yeah,
I always instead of just letting it fizzle, like all right, you could just stop following up, you could stop asking, which is probably what you do. I go,
yeah,
uh, I give them like a comment of, unless I hear differently from you, I'm assuming you're not interested in X. You don't want to continue this conversation, just so it's a back on you. And I will tell you that sometimes it's like, no, wait, I've had it in my queue, or I meant to respond to you, or I didn't. But it's weird that when I send the last thing that says I'm letting it go, they tend to follow up. So that is weird, but that's part of my process. Because otherwise, if I say that and I'm not assuming wrong and they never let me know differently, I'm clean conscious. It's fine. It's no harm, no foul, and I'm not going to be hurt by it. But yeah, it is frustrating. So I will agree with that.
yeah. No, I agree about the letting go. A lot of people, and I believe in the three
Yeah,
contacts, and after three, just say, hey, because you want to respect your time. Your time is valuable, and you don't want to chase people. I mean, you don't want. That's just not. I think how you and I do it, and Bob Berg, the Go Giver, would say the same thing. You.
there's I'll say this quote real quick. I don't know who said it, but I hear it on Michael Kitz's. If you don't know who Michael Kitz's is, he has his own podcast and it's for financial advisors. But
Okay.
he says you can't want to help them more than they want to be helped.
Hi,
And in my industry, I can't want to help people like reach their financial planning goals more than them. Otherwise, it's a recipe for not being happy because there's always clients that don't, right?
right.
Same thing in business, I think, is you can't want it more than them.
Yeah, I love that. And it's just if you don't want it, just no, I'm okay with it. I'm still your
True.
friend.
Yep.
Actually, the one friend that I actually did start doing business with and launching their internal podcast for their 4,000 salespeople in the field, um, said to me, I know I'm a terrible friend," and I said, "No, you're not a terrible friend. You're a great friend. You're a shitty business partner."
Yep. Yep. Let's just have happy hour and forget about it. Yes, that's a good
Exactly.
answer.
Exactly. So, Mark, you were kind enough to invite my wife Robin and I to the New House's pop-up bar event to raise money for a great cause. But how did you get involved in it? Your bartending skills are not that great, but you did a wonderful
The drinks were
job
strong. People were happy, but I did not make them. You're right. I've watched New House Shelter, which, if people don't know, they help with inner city, I believe. There's other ones out in Overland Park where I live that help with some of the similar stuff. What domestic violence is an issue. So I watched afar from Courtney Thomas, their executive director, Chris Stibbs, development director, Brittany Leathers. I think she just got married. She has a new Fleener, I think is her new last name. I've watched them do this from afar by putting on a wonderful event and watching friends be bartenders. And long time ago, I used to bartend. Derek Miller is one of my best friends, and the way that they set up this event for ambassadors for the charity is different than others. Like it's all about you and raising money. This is a team, and Derek and I are kind of like fun drinking buddies from years ago, and we have a lot of stories we could tell if we wanted to get into that. That's the whole episode. Let's talk about stories with
Yeah, you met at
friends.
a bachelor party, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Port Aransas, Texas. That's a whole episode. Anyways, it was you just show up, invite your friends, and it's the Worthy pop-up bar with the whole principle of you're worthy enough for being safe from domestic violence. And what started as an idea a few years ago, I think this was the third or fourth year, has turned into raising $280,000 this year, a 2-night event. I loved it because I just get behind the bar and serve drinks. And if there's another reason to dress up, that's awesome. So Derek and I had Hawaiian shirts on. And all you do is serve your friends drinks and raise a little bit of money. And we used a lot of different ways to raise money. But at the end, Derek and I ended up raising $23,000. And when we were bartending, it was like we were hanging out with friends. And yes, we had a one drink behind the bar that we were sipping on. So it's almost like we were there, but we were popular because everybody wanted to talk to us. And
Yeah.
Derek knows, I know that we like being popular. But when everybody's thirsty, it was a good night. And I think you and Robin and other good friends, Pam and Dave Kuzanik,
Yeah.
were at the corner of the bar and didn't move, but maybe 10 feet the whole night. So you guys were in a prime spot.
I did seek out Jim Erickson and his
Yeah.
wife. Is it Anna?
Ane,
Anna?
Ane, yep.
Yeah, I hadn't seen Jim in a long time. I had just met his wife at Grant Gooding's
Yep.
and other companies last the happy hour of the year in December. So yeah, it was
I
great.
think Jim was a past bartender too, like a couple years ago.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, they're great people. So
Yeah, and it's fun because you don't have to put on a tuxedo. Yes, I still go to black tie events, they're fine, but this reminds me of Band of Angels, Art That Blows. Come as you are. You can
yeah,
dress up, you can look like crap. Just come and have a cold drink, and you can come for an hour. There's not a sit down meal. And
yeah.
not
No,
you
it
have
was
to
a
be there
very
at
fun,
7,
very
very laid
fun
back.
event.
So
Yeah,
even though likely won't be bartending in the future, certainly adding it to my list of not-for-profit
yeah,
events just to go and support every year because it's so easy.
yeah. Well, Mark, this has been a great conversation for our first one, so I'm excited to get this reoccurring monthly series going. But anything you would like to drop in the episode description to
Oh,
help
yeah.
people or talk about your book?
Yeah, so as we're determining how we're going to release the book and creating some series around blogs and chapters, I would say that in the show notes, you will see a link to request additional information if you're interested. Might not come right away because my team is still figuring out what we want to start promoting, but it will probably be in April, which will be 3 or 4 months before the book comes out. So there'll be a lot of exciting information about that, including just what other books helped me think about the content, including just how to be a great leader and pay it forward. So certainly sign up for that if you're interested. Won't be spamming you. It'll be a one-time email about that list and maybe a couple others if you decide to engage in the conversation. So thanks for letting me include that.
Yeah. Well, again, enjoy the rest of your Friday, and can't wait for our next conversation.
It's almost 5 o'clock.
Somewhere.
Thank you for listening to this special edition of The Corporate Couch. If you enjoyed the episode, I would love for you to take 2 minutes out of your day to rate us 5 stars and write a review. Please join me weekly where I interview great leaders that share their career journey and their leadership wisdom.